That woman had some amazing points. Let's see. We should probably start out by saying, I want to roll in, describe what she just talked about in that clip. Just however you'd want to describe it.
She basically was talking about OkCupid.
Yeah, no, sorry. Start over.
Okay.
Sorry.
She was basically talking about OkCupid collected all this data on their users, and they studied it, and they put out results. And one of the graphs that she was pointing out and liked was the relationship of the age of a woman and who she found attractive, and the age of the men that she found attractive, and then vice versa. The men were also the data of the men by their age, who the age of the woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So overall, the result ended up being that on the chart there was basically a diagonal line drawn for the woman as they age, and then a marker placed for the age of partner they would want. And what it did show is that when women were younger, they did prefer
older men.
Partners who were older a little bit. And then throughout the whole midlife, it was pretty even. They preferred same age partners. And then at the end, they preferred slightly younger. And then for men, it was basically, no matter how old, when they're young, when they're a little bit not, when they get older, middle aged, when they're down here, when they're really old still, they all preferred
the young women,
young 18, 20-year-old women. And then she had kind of a weird, like, appalled look, Here's what I would have to say about that. It's fucking dumb. It's fucking dumb. That is a thing where, I'm probably not at all the best feminist by any means. I want to be a good feminist, and I do my best. I'm sure I fail in many ways. And I apologize when I do, and I want people to call me on it so I can be better. I do. But so here's where I can come up. One of my probably bad feminist positions is this. I agree with this woman wholeheartedly because I've never understood that shit. I've never understood when my friends would be like, oh yeah, I fucked this many virgins, or I've had this many, or I can't, I want to get together with a virgin. I can't be with anybody who's not a virgin. But what? Why?
Why?
Virgins are fucking lame. Virgins are fucking boring, right?
They don't know what they're doing.
They don't know what they're doing. And don't get me wrong, nothing against virgins, right? I mean, you have to figure out ways to figure it out. There's no good way to get good at this other than by just figuring it out and working at it. And practice makes perfect, So it's not like, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to take a position where I'm disparaging virgins, right? Because that's just the state that you're in, right? I'm just saying I don't understand other people's obsession with, or like, what is that? That's always been something that I thought is wrong and or weird, right? There's either something wrong behind your motivation for that, and I don't even want to go into that realm, right? But or there's just something weird about it. Like, you don't have a proper understanding of the realities of sex. Right? Like, you think you want this person because they're pure and untouched, when what the fuck does that even mean? First and foremost, right? Most of the people who I would talk to in these conversations, weren't religious adherents to begin with, right? And even if you were, which sometimes they were and oftentimes can be in other people's situations, you're in the middle of having a conversation about hunting virgins, essentially. So however fucking religious you may or may not be, you're not being that right now. So it's weird to want someone who has a lack of experience for something like sex, if you ask me. I've been with a few virgins. The only one that was fun for me was when I was also a virgin.
Yeah, I was going to say, the only time you should want to have sex with a virgin is if you yourself are
in that state as well.
Like, I could see that, because then at least...
Then it's a matter of assurance, right? No matter how fucking bad I do during this period, right? They don't know any better.
Exactly, right?
I mean, and what they think they might know is better. I might be able to. Oh well, that's just television, baby, right? Right? You don't last very long when you're a virgin, right? So you can. Oh no, this is normal. That's what you see in TV when they talk about, or books or romance novels when they talk about long, passionate hours of. No, right? You can try and spin your way out of it. Right? It'll be a lie. It'll be wrong, right? But I say she for me, but your partner on the other side of that will too. In that scenario, they too will be young, naive, possibly impressionable enough to buy the sling of bullshit that you're selling, right? So beyond that, I'm like, what is the advantageous factor that people think they're getting with this virgin package?
Dominance,
I guess, right? But then the age thing that she was talking about, like, yeah, I fully understand that these charts are going to work out this way, and because again, I want to clearly point out that this was surveys of averages, right? So I thought that actually seemed pretty normal, with the exception of that. I think I think men are weirdly.
I think it's a little bit of a false set of data because this is a dating app.
Yes,
where they're collecting it.
That's kind of where I was going. It's like men are weirdly, what's the word? When they're trying to avert the truth. I can't think of the right word to say. They're being surveyed on a dating app, right? And so I'm like, I think men are going to be like, oh, well, yeah, of course, if I had my choice, right? Who wouldn't be dating a 20-year-old, right? I think more of them might be answering along those lines because they think that's the norm, right? That's what right? I don't want to be the weird guy who says, oh yeah, actually, 20-year-olds are great. Hot college cheerleader bouncing around might be fun to look at and fantasize briefly about, right? But what I really want is that 40-year-old MILF, right? That mom who's got a few baby weight pounds on her.
Here's a theory.
You don't want to be that weird guy.
Right? Because the older the men get, the more likely they're going to face ED issues.
Right.
They can't keep up with the 46-year-old woman.
Woof! Nice, right? That's
they're
attracted
right? To the younger
of course
woman
they have to be attracted to her because they can impress her. They can lie to her.
Impress her. They can lie to her. They can.
Right. That's 100%, right? So you men. So now we figured it out, right? So the dudes who are looking for those youngins, right? It's because
they're inexperienced.
You are not taking care of your ladies the way you need to be taking care of your ladies. I got it. Okay, yeah. That's starting to make some sense for this guy here. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, missionary is fine for the 20-year-old.
Right. Yeah. 3 minutes is fine. That's what I don't understand. I've never understood these average times and these average. I'm like, what? I don't know how.
Just to get.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
In a group.
Takes us 20 minutes to even just get sizzled up or what? I don't know. I don't want to go into more details right now on this because it's not what we're talking about right here. But and I don't want to feel like we're doing some weird level of bragging by any means. But yeah, I'm like you've got to have a lover with experience, or lovers, preferably, right? With experience. I shouldn't say you gotta, right? Because what you're into is what you're into, right? I would say you should want a lover with experience, or lovers with experience, so that you get the joy and pleasure out of sex that you're owed and that you deserve. It's the most pleasurable thing we can do, and you can do it at will and for free and blah blah blah. I'm like, it as a human being, and especially since most of us spend our time on this earth in a way of life that doesn't exactly let us get to take advantage of all of the pleasures and opulence that is available here, right? But the one of the few things that almost can't be denied to people is sexual pleasure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So take advantage of it. People should be enjoying it and getting good at it and celebrating it. I love what's happening in the adult content creator spheres, right? And I'm hoping that we do more and more work, we as a society, people, everyone, we do more and more work to bring sex work out of the shadows and to I don't know, maybe even prop up and praise some of these people, right? It's like people forget that this is a real issue and it's an important thing. I look back at the Larry Flynn trials, right? People thought it was terrible and that he was perverting the use of the First Amendment. No, it was exactly why the First Amendment was created.
Yeah.
Is to protect these free speeches, and there's nothing inherently dangerous to a citizen population or to the humans or to humans in general about sex. So we should not be censoring and hiding this information, right?
Right. People
should be. I'm fine. Age restricted. Put policies in place that keep it safe and sensical. 100%. I will 100% back that. But we need to bring sex work out of this area where it's a shaming realm and or an illegality realm. We need to knock that shit off. As a species, as a society, our society in particular, other societies are equally or worse bad at it as we are. There are some societies that are freer and more open than we are, but none of us are great about it. We need to get better about the fact that this is who we are, people. I'm sorry.
Yep.
It's who we are.